Hey laser crafters, let's make this tall skeleton decor for the front door. Hello, I am Katie from thecraftyblogStalker.com, and if you're new to my channel, make sure and hit that subscribe button. Here are the supplies I am using, and I do have a complete supply list with shoppable links that can be found either in the description of this video, in the tutorial blog post, or through this QR code. The laser file we'll be using is a design I created specifically for this project and can only be purchased through the Crafty Blog Stalker. All right, let's jump into the tutorial. The material I am using is 3mm MDF. You can use other materials or other thicknesses. Just note that you'll have to buy longer screws. The screws I'm using are 6mm, which works perfectly for 2 layers of 3mm MDF. I also had to use 5 sheets of MDF, and these are the 12 by 20 inch size sheets. Before cutting out the entire design, I recommend that you cut out this little test card that comes with the SVG for the screw holes. Lasers can cut just a little bit differently, so I created this guide. All of my holes are this 0.19 inches. That's why I have that square around it. But you'll want to check with your laser to make sure that your holes are the same. To test the holes, I'll take these little screws that I'm using, and it should be tight. So there's the 19, there's what I'm using. Then you can test your laser cutter settings. Otherwise, you might need to adjust the holes on the file. I cut the design using my own Tech 50-watt laser. And I can't really share my settings because all lasers are different. Even if you have the same exact laser as me, the settings for cutting might be a little bit different. So I recommend that you understand your laser and your settings before jumping into this project. Here are all of the pieces cut out, and as you can see, they are all layered. So all of these pieces are 2 layers deep with that 3mm MDF. On the background piece, there is a score line that I added into the file that will help align the pieces so you know what direction they go. That piece should completely cover that score line when it is in the correct position. The first thing I want to do is paint, and I'm going to start with the white pieces first. I'm just going to take them off exactly how they are so I know that I'm painting the correct side. To protect my surface, my table here, from paint, I've just got some packing paper, and I'm just going to tape that down. I will also tape down my pieces. This way I don't have to hold them. When painting MDF, you do want to be careful because if you put on too much paint, it can begin to warp and crinkle. So you really want to put the paint on nice and light. See how that tape is holding it so I don't have to? It's my favorite trick. I'm all done painting my white. Now I want to let this coat dry completely before I add the second coat. Now that these are dry, I can go in and start my second coat of white. And this one I want to make sure is very smooth with as few brush marks as possible. I'm going to let them sit like this for about 20 minutes to make sure that they are good and dry. Now that my pieces are dry, I'm going to remove them from the tape and put them aside. Now I can place all of the black pieces. And I'll just place them in the same spot as much as I can. These pieces, I know what side is up because it has that score line on it. I'm going to paint all of these pieces black. Add some paint to my palette. I was going to use my 2-inch brush for these larger pieces, but I really liked this 1-inch brush. So I've cleaned it, and I'm going to go ahead and keep using this. We're going to do this the same way as we did our white pieces. We'll paint probably 2 coats and let them dry completely. Our first coat of black is done, so I'll let this dry. Now I'm going to come in with my second coat. I really think that I'm going to be good with only 2 coats on my black. I'm going to let these pieces dry completely before I move on to the next step. All of my pieces are painted and dried. I have my black and my white pieces. To glue them, I am using just some simple wood glue. The screws I'm using, they're called binding screws. If you're familiar with scrapbooking, They're also the screws that go in scrapbook albums. They are 6 millimeters, and there's a bottom and a top to all of the pieces. The first piece I'm going to assemble is the main body because everything is going to connect to this piece. So we've got our rib cage, and I really like having that scored outline because it really helps just place everything exactly. That is how our rib cage is going to go on. So I'll turn this piece over and just add some glue to the back. I'll turn that over. My head is going to be in the shop for this just because I need to get right over it to find how it centers on. That looks good. Press it down. All these little sections where glue has eked out, if you want, you can take a Q-tip and go around it. My wood glue dries clear, so I'm not that worried about it. I'm just going to leave it as is. I totally forgot. I'm glad I remembered before it stuck. But right here in the neck, I need to put a casing for the binding screw. It's going to have the flat end, and I'm going to put just a little bit of glue around it and push that through. I don't want any glue where that joint is going to be because it will stop the joint from moving. Nothing like messing up on the very first piece. I'm just going to wipe the glue off the back there. There's another hole right here on the bottom. So I'm going to do the same. Push that casing in. Put something underneath it to hold it. Otherwise, it'll just push that screw right back up. So I don't want any glue on this section down here either. Now I am ready to put this piece back on. Cover up all those score lines. And now I can press. Whew! I'm glad I saved that. I'm going to turn it over and set this piece aside. I'm going to move on to the head. There is a screw hole here, but it's not where any of our pieces go. So I'm fine to glue these on. I'll add glue to the back. Enter that on and press. And do the same with the lower jaw and place this piece. Those pieces completely cover that scored line. I can attach my head to my body, to my rib cage. The head is going to go on just like that. I'll take a top piece that has the screw marks and my screwdriver and screw that piece in. There's our head. Look at how cute that is. Our head's done, so I'm going to set the body aside. We need the hand with the thumb that will be closest to the body. We need the arm that has the round edge on the left. I can explain that more when I layer it. And then one of these. I've got the thumb where it will be towards the body. I'll grab the hand piece. That'll go there. Then this piece. See how there's the round edge? That goes on the left side of the left arm. And then we have the top of our arm. So that is how it is going to assemble right there. For this piece, I don't have to worry about the screw. I'm just going to add glue to the back of my hand. Center that piece on. Press it down. This piece goes on top. So we want to put in that screw base before we glue on the top. For this piece, I'm only going to add glue right here. Enter that piece on. I'll turn this piece over, put the hand in, and tighten that screw with my screwdriver. We have our jointed hand. We're going to do the same with this one. Put the casing of our screw in the side with the flat end. I'll add a casing to that one. For this piece, I only want to add glue there to the center of that bone. And push that on. Do the same for this elbow joint. Add our screw. We're going to let this arm dry before we try and put it in there. Because this piece, since it only has glue there in the center, it wants to move really easily. So we're going to let that dry for just a little bit. We'll do the same thing. We've got the thumb towards the center like that. We'll put on our hand, press that down. Then we've got our middle forearm. We'll put some screws there. With this piece, only put glue here and up. Center that piece on. We can put our hand on and screw it in. The back of my skeleton is a little messy, but that's okay. It's the back. No one will see it. Do the same with this one. We have our screw holes. Add a little bit of glue there just to secure those. Put some screw casings in. With this piece, we can only put the glue there in the center. Let that glue dry for just a minute. While the glue on this arm is drying, I'm going to bring in our skeleton body. This arm that is now dry is going to go right here. Although I didn't add these little edge pieces. Those go in like that. Make sure I have them on the right side, which I do, just like that. Now I'm gonna turn this over. This arm comes over here, and we're gonna screw these together. While editing, I realized that my video cut short and I didn't quite get all of the arm and body assembly. So you're going to screw in that back screw over or through the shoulder, and you're going to do the same exact thing for the other arm, with that arm being in front of the rib cage body and screwing in that screw from the back. You also missed me gluing those white shaped pieces onto the pelvis. I do apologize. Let's get back to the tutorial. I'll move to this piece. And the upper leg, we do put a casing in that top and bottom hole. With this piece, we don't want any right here in the hip joint or in that knee. We just want that main part of the bone. Turn that over. Let this thigh bone, this upper leg bone, dry a little bit before we attach it to the hips. Start with the other leg. We have our foot I can attach. Then our lower leg, have the large bone to the inside of the leg. We need to add a screw only to the bottom. I'm going to add glue to the back of this piece. No glue down here. Add glue to the back of the skinny piece. Place that. Turn it over to really add some pressure, some nice even pressure to those pieces. I'll add my foot. I can assemble this leg piece, and I've got two joints here. I'll add my screw casing. I can add glue to the back, but I don't want to add glue where those screws are. So I'm just going to focus mainly on the middle part of that bone and center that on. Turn it over so I can really press those pieces down. I'm gonna let that piece dry for just a minute. Let's assemble our right leg, the skeleton's left leg. I'll turn this over and screw in the knee screw. Turn the hips over and add the hip screw. There's one leg. I can turn this piece over, add the knee screw and the other hip screw. Almost completely assembled. To connect our legs to our top, I'm going to turn those legs over and turn the body over as well. Those hips connect right there. And we have the final screw going into place. Now I can turn the whole skeleton over. Let's see, can we get all of him in the camera? That is a tall skeleton. But oh my goodness, look at how cute. And he's totally posable. He can wave. He could do the Macarena. Let's see how tall he is. We'll go from the tip of his head down to his toes. He is about 50 inches tall. That is a tall skeleton, and he is so cute. I'm gonna turn him over. I've got a small popsicle stick, and I'm gonna take a length of ribbon that's maybe like 10 inches long. I'm gonna cut some knots here. This is my favorite way to hang wooden signs. If you have a different way that you prefer, that is totally fine. This is just my method. I want the other knot to be about right here. I'll tie that into a knot a couple of times. I'll cut off this excess. I'm gonna glue that popsicle stick down over the top of my little ribbon hanger. Bring in my wood glue again and add some glue there to the back. I'm okay if that glue oozes out. It's kind of what I want it to do, so it holds really, really good. I'll just let that dry. Oh, he's so cute. And he was so much fun to put together. Make sure to visit my website, thecraftyblogsstalker.com, so you can grab this SVG laser file for yourself. You can also find my tutorial videos on YouTube and at home on your smart TV on Made It Myself TV. Thanks, everyone. Bye, and happy crafting.